Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Britton and welcome. I do a lot of beauty tutorials as well as reviews. I have a lot coming up for new products, so stay tuned for that. So if you're interested in what my channel has, then definitely please hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. Today's video isn't going to be a tutorial or review. This is actually going to be a first story time on my channel, which I'm really excited about. What I'm about to talk about definitely needs to be talked about a lot more, and the side effects that you can get from it, that is lip injections. So if you are interested in this video, go ahead and get relaxed, grab a snack, and go ahead and keep on watching. So to start off with, disclaimer, I don't want to make this video to be like, you should never get lip injections, yada yada yada. I just want to make this video because I feel like everyone talks about how amazing they are, and for me, in my instance, I heard nothing but good things about lip injections, and I was never told the negative. Even by my doctor who did them, she did a good job. It's just I was never really discussed side effects. It was just, okay, let's do it. So I wanted to make this video to talk about those possibilities because you always think you're never going to be that person, and it happened to me.
Okay, I love you, Beach.
Love you. Bye.
I love you, Beach.
Bye.
I never gonna stop loving you, Beach.
Okay, so before I start the whole storytelling and everything, little disclaimer, I'm not telling anyone that they should not get their lips done. This whole point of this video is to make sure that you research everything and you research who you go to, because that is so important. Because yes, it's not like full-on surgery, but this is on your face, and this is going to stay on your face for a very long time. I want you guys to be more like just aware of side effects and everything and what could happen. And again, I'm not telling anyone that they should not get their lips done. If you want to get your lips done, totally go and get your lips done. Just make sure it's with someone reputable. Backstory: I never was like upset with my lips. My lips were smaller. The only thing I think I was self-conscious of is when I smiled, my top lip would kind of tuck underneath, and it kind of just looked like I had no lips when I smiled. So like when I naturally smiled, like my lip would tuck underneath, but then I had to, like, it's gonna sound so weird, but I would smile a certain way, like not like a full smile, but like that. But I would smile like that just because I felt so self-conscious of like how far my lip tucked above when I smiled. So I remember with my old coworkers, like talking to them about it and them being like, oh, you should totally do it. It's like you're gonna see such a difference. You're gonna be so happy with it. And I remember thinking like, oh, okay, yeah, like that's something I'd probably save up for and do in the future. So when I transferred to the new store that it's gonna sound so confusing, but when I worked for my old job, I transferred to another store, and there I remember I had my coworker, my new old coworker. This is becoming very confusing, but anyways, my old coworker from the transferred store that I went to, she had her lips done, and they were gorgeous. Like, they were plumped, they were so voluminous, and I remember looking at them being like, oh my god, like they were so gorgeous. And again, I wasn't self-conscious of my lips, but me being so into makeup, and I always overdraw my lips, and like it's fine in pictures, but in person you can see when it's very overdrawn, which I liked to do. So I wanted it where I didn't want to have that problem anymore. So finally, last year, 2018, in November, I finally decided to do it. My coworker who had her lips done and they're gorgeous, she was actually a receptionist of the place that I was thinking on going to. So in November, I had decided to go ahead and get my lips done. I got a full syringe, and everything went pretty smoothly. I would say the only thing that I kind of noticed, which was a little weird to me, was right here on this side of my lip, I kind of had like a small like hard spot on this side. And I also noticed as well that this side was a little bigger in volume than this side. And that lump that was in there, it wasn't like painful or anything. It just felt a little hard when you touched it. For upper lip too, I think a lot of people don't really discuss as well. This happened the first time. I got the little bumps that happen. So I looked it up, and naturally your lips have these bumps. When your skin is stretched from the injections, they kind of pop out because they don't have that excess, not excess skin, but they don't have, it's thinner skin to cover those bumps with, if that makes sense. That was the first time I did it. No complications. I bruised quite a bit and I swelled up quite a bit, which I wasn't surprised by because I bruise quite easily. Like, I literally can like go like this on me and I freaking bruise. I wasn't surprised. I bruised quite heavily right here, and on the center of my lip mainly. For the full syringe, I paid $340, and that was with a discount. That is why you want to go to someone reputable, because you want to make sure that you are getting your money's worth and you're getting them done correctly. So like I said, they did swell up quite a bit on my lips. Like, it was quite swollen. It looked like I had like an allergy or something. But I was looking at them and I'm like, oh my god, like this is what I want my lips to look like. Your lips, no matter what, are going to swell up because you are injecting a needle into your lip and then injecting product into your lip. So your lips are going to swell, and it is not going to stay that volume that you initially see your lips. And I think that I wasn't fully, like, I was told the swelling is going to go down, but I didn't realize like how much it actually goes down. Like, you definitely see a difference in volume, but it's not as drastic as like if you were looking at someone. Like, it needs to take time. It's like working out, you need to build that muscle. Same with your lips. You can't inject a bunch of syringes in your lip because the skin is going to get so thin and it's not going to be able to adapt to that. So over time, you have to do it. They recommend typically every 4 to 6 months you go back in to either get half or a full syringe. That is what I did. In November, I had gotten a full syringe. I didn't have complications. I didn't have issues. I definitely saw it go down quite a bit, and I wanted more volume in my lips. Definitely wanted to stay natural. I didn't want to go full-blown Kylie Jenner, but I definitely wanted to see more volume in my lips. Fast forward to April now, 2019. So I decided I'm going to Germany in like 2 weeks, so I decided like I should get my lips done because I need to touch them up anyways, and it will be nice for my trip. Like, it will be a month before my trip, so it will have time for the swelling go down. I won't have the bruising before my trip. It will be great. So I made my appointment to get my lips done on my anniversary. So I got them done April 19th. I went in, same exact thing as before. Same thing, I told her that what I wanted to focus on was something more powdier. I wanted to focus not the full syringe, but I wanted to focus it a little more on the top because my top lip has always been smaller than my bottom lip. So I just explained that I just want to mainly focus it on this top. Obviously put some on the bottom so they're evened out, but I want it more of a powdier look. And same thing, when I smile, I don't want my top lip to tuck underneath. I want it to still have a lip. Does that make sense? Like, I still want to see my lip. So I put the numbing cream on and we can start the injections. Top lip was completely fine. Swelled up quite a bit. Same thing though. So we did the top lip and everything went perfectly fine. We then do the bottom lip and it was a completely different story. She injects them, everything's fine, and then what happens after they inject it is they have to mold the Juvederm. Why they have to mold it is because you don't want it just injected and then it gets lumpy and it's not evened out. So for this process, she literally just takes her fingers and pushes it. It's a lot of pressure. You feel it. When she did it, this is where it goes south. Midway, she stopped and was looking at my lip and she goes, "Does that hurt?" And she's like touching it. I'm like, no. And I started to get worried because she didn't ask me those questions and she wasn't looking concerned like that the first time that I had gotten my lips done. So that's when I knew, okay, like something isn't going right. So that's when she starts to look at my lip, and she goes, I want you to look at something. And I go, okay. So she gives me the mirror, and this side of my lip is way more swollen than this side. And again, I will insert pictures so you can see everything. And I'm looking and I'm like, oh. And it's starting to bruise quite quickly. It's already starting to turn more of that bluish purple. And she looks at me, and I had already told her before, I bruise easily, so don't be surprised if I bruise. So she's looking at it and she goes, okay, did you bruise this quickly last time? And I go, no. Like, for the bruising to, like, really, like, it took a couple hours for the bruising to start happening the last time that I had gotten my lips done. So I go, no, like, it didn't take this long before. And I was starting to get very nervous because it's my lips. Like, that's on my face. So she's looking at it, and she takes these little, kind of like, the best way I can explain it, they look kind of like the very thin, like the tops to the needles, and the part that covers the needle. And what she was doing is she was pressing it and looking at the blood flow on both sides. And she said, I don't want to make you nervous, but what could be happening right now is occlusion. Now, I had no idea what occlusion was. I had never heard of it. I had never had someone tell me that has gotten their lips done about occlusion. I didn't even have my doctor tell me about occlusion. So I'm sitting there, and she's like, it might be occlusion, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what is occlusion? Like, I'm just here to get my lips done. Like, what is occlusion? No one mentioned this to me, which is why I think this is why I really wanted to make this video, because no one talks about this. No one talks about the risks of it. So I'm sitting there, and finally, like, my boyfriend's there, and he's looking at me like, what's happening? And so I turn to her, I'm like, what is occlusion? And she looks at me and she goes, oh, it's when, what could be happening right now is when the filler is too heavy on your artery. And when it's too heavy on your artery, it stops the blood flow of your lip. Now, if we don't take care of this, what could happen is that your lip could end up, the tissue could end up dying and could create scar tissue. And it's going to, like, it could, in the end, it would ruin my lips. We're sitting there, and she's, like, the nurse there. So she's starting to send pictures to the doctor that owns the office. And she's like, what we're going to do is we're going to wait a little, and we're going to see, like, color-wise, I'm not going to let you leave because I don't want you to go home and it ends up being worse. And I'm just like, what is happening to my lips? She said, so the possibility is bruising. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, I do bruise quite easily. So what do you think is best? And what kind of made me nervous is she was going back and forth. Like, it was like, it could just be bruising, but it could be occlusion. It could just be this, but it's this. And I was just sitting there, like, very nervous, and I'm like, okay, like, do what you have to do. I understand, but, like, these are my lips. Like, please, like, do not let anything bad happen to my lips. Finally, she decides that she is going to dissolve my lips. And I was so nervous because I have heard things about dissolver, and I have heard that it is the worst pain that you can, like, ever feel. So I'm sitting there nervous, and I look at her, and I'm like, is this going to hurt? And she goes, it's not that bad. Like, I've done it without numbing cream before, so it's not that bad. And I'm like, okay, like, I have a high pain tolerance, so this is probably going to be nothing. Like, I should be fine. Like, again, for me, like, nothing, I obviously feel pain, but I have a very high pain tolerance, so nothing really hurts me that bad that I can't bear it. So I'm like, okay, fine. Like, she's probably going to do, like, 1 syringe of dissolver. Like, we'll be fine. So she goes, okay, like, I'm going to leave the room. We're going to ice it a little more, because my fear was, is the numbing stuff worn off by now? Because if this dissolver hurts as bad as what I've heard, I don't want to feel the most that I can. So she goes, oh, no, it should be fine. It lasts about an hour, 2 hours. So what we'll do is we'll just ice the area, because she mainly wanted to focus the dissolver on the left side. So she leaves the room, and my boyfriend's just looking at me, and he's like, dude, my friend's like, you're never doing this again. And a crazy part of me was like, but like, I want my lips done. Like, I want my lips to look good. And he's just looking at me like, you're a crazy bitch. So she comes in with the dissolver, and she has like 3 full syringes ready to go with the dissolver. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, why do you, like, you need 3 of them for like 1 syringe? But then I'm like, you know what, the product that hadn't fully dissolved before, like, okay, I get it. So now for the dissolver. So she goes and starts to put the dissolver in my lip. And let me tell you, when that is the most pain I have felt in my life, that is the most pain I have felt in my life. Like, the best way I can explain it, most hottest, like, just like fully boiled, like extremely hot water into a syringe and inject it in your lips, that is what it felt like. Like, I can't even explain to you guys that pain. Like, I was literally shaking. And again, I can handle pain really well. So my boyfriend just like looking at me like, oh shit, like, this is bad. I was shaking, I was crying, and I had a full face of makeup on because me and my boyfriend were gonna go to our anniversary dinner after I had gotten my lips done. So I was crying, I was shaking, and my boyfriend, God bless him, was holding my hand the entire time. I don't know what I would have done without him, because he was like rubbing my head, he was rubbing like right here, like he was just like, okay, you got it, you got it. He was rubbing my shoulder. As you do, she had to do it in increments because I couldn't handle up to a certain point. Like, I would wiggle, like I couldn't control it. My body was just like, no, like, stop. So I want to say she did about like 3 syringes, and it finally, when it was over, my lip still looked extremely bruised. It was extremely swollen. Like, my bottom lip was so much bigger, because think about it. I had just put in a full syringe of Juvederm in my bottom lip and then dissolved it. I get home and the bruising is just getting so bad. Like, it literally looks like I had gotten in a fight and got punched in the face so many times on this side on my bottom lip. Got home, I had that bruising. I still had to go to dinner with my boyfriend. I don't even know what it was, but on this side, I think where she injected the dissolver, I kept having this little liquid come out of my lip. I don't know. Like, I put lipstick on, and literally this little bubble up. It wasn't a bubble, but it was just this little thing of liquid came out, and I remember being like, and it had like a little bit of blood. It looks like, you know, the clear stuff that comes out of like cuts and stuff like that. Like, that's what like plasma, I think that's what it's called. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was like plasma. So then Saturday the 20th comes around, and she texts me and she goes, can you send me update pictures? So I send her pictures, and she then calls me and she says, I need you to come in as soon as possible. And I'm like, what do you mean I need to come in as soon as possible? Like, I just got the dissolver. Like, what is the issue now? And in the pictures, I'll put them like right here. In the pictures, you can see I have the bruising, and then I have this white area in the middle of my lip. And then this side has little bruising, but it's mainly clear. Her concern was that white little spot is a sign of occlusion. It's a sign that the blood is fully not going through my lip on that part and this part, because this part was still black blue and this in the center was white. So no blood was getting to my lip. And if I waited too long, that is when I can run into the issues of occlusion continuing. I can get those blisters on the side of my lip, my lip having issues of dying on me, and then me having scar tissue. And the plan was, as well as Friday when I saw her, was I was going to go back in on Monday to get my bottom lip refilled, because I had a free syringe on my account and didn't, because of the issues that we ran into. So I was supposed to go in Monday, but now Saturday, it being Saturday, I have to go in Saturday because now I've run into the issue of my lip dying on me. And obviously, I don't want my lip dying on me. I don't think anyone would want their lip to die on them. I get there, and she wasn't there yet. She was at her other office that she worked at. So we go in, and we're in the waiting room. Like, we walk in, and there's a bunch of people, and they didn't even want me in the waiting room because of how bad my lips looked. So they moved me already to the injection room when prior, like, they made me wait. She comes in, and she's looking at my lip, and she goes, yeah, we need to do more dissolver. And my heart literally was like, I knew I was about to feel, again, the worst pain because think about it, like, my lips have been through hell the past 24 hours. Like, being injected, being dissolved, and now being dissolved even more. She put the numbing stuff on, and in total, that session, she did 3 treatments of dissolver on my lips in one session. Again, the pain that felt, I was crying, I was shaking. There was a point where, it's gonna sound very weird, but I was moaning and I couldn't control it because of how much pain I was in. Like, I was whimpering / moaning. There was times where I couldn't even control my body. Like, my body was like trying to fight, like moving out of the way, like, what the fuck, get away, like, we don't want to be in pain right now. In the process of this happening, we discussed that what most likely happened was everyone's artery pretty much goes straight through their lip on the bottom. Mine, I forgot the exact name of it, but mine, I have the issue where it's straight and then it kind of goes like, woo, all over the place. What she thinks happened is when she was injecting it, it was fine. But when she was molding it into place, she thinks that she possibly nicked my artery in my lip. And like, you guys, like, that is this, it's scary because you think like you're just going in and you've done it before and this stuff isn't, you know, the bad outcomes aren't going to happen to you. And it's whatever, but then it happens to you and it is scary because, again, this is your face. Like, this is what everyone sees when you meet them or when you're at work. Like, this is what people look at, and the fact that it could have seriously affected my face, like, that's scary. I did it. The bruising went down. It went away. It was quite sore after everything happened. But as of right now, I have no Juvederm in my bottom lip. We fully dissolved that. And I have about, including the last time, I have gotten 2 syringes of Juvederm in my top lip. Will I ever get lip injections again? No. Because I don't want it to be where I think, okay, this time's going to be different. And I go in and we put more in, and the same process happens again. Because, again, if you guys could see my lips, like, it was bad. So, that was my first story time. Sorry that it was so, not vulgar, but it was just not a nice subject to talk about. But I think it's such an important subject just because, again, everyone talks about how amazing lip injections are. Everyone's been getting lip injections, but there's no talk of the side effects that could happen. And you think, and that one, you know, they say it's like very, very rare for people to have occlusion in their lips, but you could be that person. And I never thought I'd be that person, but it happened and it was scary. And again, I think it was just very important to talk about and get people more aware of, because it's scary. And that's your face, that's your lips. Overall, it's important to research who you're going to, and I really encourage everyone to research all the side effects because I bet you there's way more than just occlusion, and just become more aware. And again, I'm not making this video to tell you guys, no one ever get lip injections ever, because if you're interested, do it, because it made me feel a lot more confident, but my confidence and like my happiness of my lips is not worth me losing my lips, you know? And yeah, that is my lip injection horror story. If you made it this far in my story, thank you so much for sticking around. If you don't already, please subscribe to my channel. I also have an Instagram @byBritton, as well as a Twitter, Britton_Smets. Everything will be linked down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you guys are interested in story times, I would definitely love to do more. I was thinking of next time doing like my experience working at Ulta, because that was an experience. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!